Welcome to Tarot Talk Radio. I'm going to pull some cards for you now. I do use an app to pull the cards, and so that can sometimes result in repeats as we continue through the reading. But the reading is starting with the Eight of Swords reverse, the Page of Cups reverse, and the Two of Swords reverse. So there's something opening up here with the Two of Swords reversed, as well as the Eight of Swords reverse. Eight of Swords reverse can speak to someone being freed from something that has been very restrictive, especially something that has been mentally restrictive, something that has caused somebody to feel very fenced in. Two of Swords reversed. When the card is upright, it's a very closed off, blocked off, do not enter type of energy. It's a blocked off energy. So this reversal, again, there's something opening up here. I feel for somebody, especially with the swords crossed over the chest with the Two of Swords. And again, the mental energy, well, of the Suit of Swords, but especially with that Eight of Swords. It's possible that there is a heart and mind opening here. It could be, chakras that are opening here. And with the Page of Cups reversed, for me, the Page of Cups, I read intuitively. So, yes, I know the standard meanings of the cards, but the cards, they've revealed additional meanings to me over time. And sometimes they reveal new meanings right in the reading. But often for me, the Page of Cups actually speaks to me of some type of conversation that's taking place between the page and the fish that's in the cup. Sometimes that fish is a Pisces like myself, right? And so I do feel, even with this reversal, there has been some type of conversation that is resulting in this heart and mind opening. Maybe you were the fish in the cup that gave somebody a conversation that's causing them to think differently and feel differently. Okay, the reversal is telling me specifically this conversation is in the past, and I feel like somebody, it could be you who received this conversation, but whoever was conversed to, they're reflecting on this. Okay, and I do feel, again, with the Eight of Swords and Two of Swords both reversed, this is a major opening. I feel like there's been a significant blockage of some sort that's being, sort of dissolved here. So that's where we're at so far. Let's get some more cards out here. We have the Magician, the Two of Pentacles reverse, and the Six of Cups reverse. Yeah, the Magician is talking about something happening, something materializing, something manifesting. Whatever this blockage in the heart and mind, it could have been, something else, but it feels to me like it's heart and mind related. It's resulting in something, it could be resulting in something materializing in the physical, but if it's not that specifically, it's something that's so sort of significant that it almost feels like it's something literally manifesting in the physical, if that makes sense. Um, Yeah, I'm also getting that because these blockages are being dissolved, that can allow perhaps something, that has not been able or allowed to manifest in the physical to then manifest. But what's interesting, and this goes back to the Page of Cups reverse, that with the Two of Pentacles reverse and the Six of Cups reverse, this is happening, I want to say in separation. Okay, so whoever this conversation, involved, I feel like these two people, you and this other person, whether you were the one who was giving the advice or the knowledge, so to speak, whether you were the one who was receiving it, I feel like the relationship right now is not currently in good standing, or maybe it's totally in your past. I can tell you personally that sometimes people don't really understand the messages I'm giving them for years. And often by that time, I'm no longer in their life. They may contact me and let me know that they're understanding something I said to them a long time ago. But, I would say most often when that happens, that person is no longer part of my life. And so, Six of Cups, that can be a type of soulmate energy, kindred spirit type of energy. With this reversal, it's indicating to me that this relationship, at least at this juncture, is not active. And that's also being echoed here with the Two of Pentacles reverse. Now, Two of Pentacles reverse for me, it can speak to two soulmates who have been sort of linked throughout infinity. We see this juggler holding the two pentacles that are sort of within this infinity symbol. Um, Again, this is a meaning that the card personally revealed to me that can indicate to souls basically who have been linked together throughout multiple lifetimes, throughout infinity. And while that may continue to be the case at a, sort of spiritual level, I do feel with this reversal, like there's a certain bond that has been broken here. And at the same time, this Two of Pentacles reverse, Two of Pentacles, when it's upright, it can speak to sort of weighing different options, being indecisive. I feel with this reversal, again, whatever blockage in the mind that existed before this conversation, somebody is, seemingly going from a rather indecisive state to a more decisive state. There's some level of clarity that's coming in here. Um, that's part of that mental blockage that's being dissolved. However, it's almost like this relationship, in some cases this relationship may have sort of run its course. Sometimes we show up in people's lives, and again, this has been especially the case for my life over the past 15 years. Usually when I show up in somebody's life, it's for a spiritual reason, regardless of the nature of the relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, platonic, professional. Usually I'm there to deliver one or more messages. Sometimes that process can take years, sometimes it's one conversation. But what I can tell you is that in all of these circumstances, once that purpose has been served, the relationship has ended. Okay. And so I'm not necessarily saying that that's going to be the case for everybody. But, for some of you, you may need to consider that you have served your purpose in this person's life, or they have served their purpose in your life, or minimally, at least for this particular season, that's how it looks to me. Okay. And, I'll expand on this. Sometimes, I'm just speaking from experience here. My whole life has basically been based on the spiritual assignments that God gives me. And because of that, sometimes I will be put into an Eight of Swords energy. I will be severely restricted in order to hold me in position to encounter whomever I am meant to give a message to, or whatever else I'm meant to do in their life. Because the role does vary quite a bit. But yeah, so for some of you, if you feel like you've been held in place, and you are also one of these messenger type of folks, or you serve some other key spiritual role in people's lives, it's certainly possible that you're going to be freed with that Eight of Swords reversed from your holding position, because you have now delivered whatever message or set of messages or whatever service you were meant to provide that has now been completed for some of you. And so you're now going to be able to, you're going to be granted the freedom, okay, to move around a bit. All right. And again, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I've been held in place for years. It depends on the assignment, the soul contract. Okay. And sometimes that it includes, being held geographically in a location in a specific neighborhood. Sometimes it means being held in place in terms of what I'm allowed to create and get involved in, the type of commitments I'm allowed to make. Because certain commitments can prevent you from being available to do certain assignments. So this is something that is either resonating with you or it's not. I know a lot of people believe in free will and creating their whatever. That's not been my experience at all. It depends on why you're here, and to a certain degree, how significant your role is, how important those messages are to give to people, and often for me, how important those people's missions are, because that's often I'm there to catalyze and guide people towards their sort of destined paths. And so depending on how significant their missions are, God will sometimes hold me in place for quite a while until that contract runs out. And that does not always mean that that person is going to receive the message I'm there to give them. It does not always mean they're going to do the inner work that they need to do. It does not even necessarily mean that they're going to be successful in going into their mission. That's up to them, right? but it's my job to be obedient to my assignments and do my part until I'm either released from that contract basically, or the contract, runs out its window. So I'm feeling that probably some of you listening, you have a similar type of role that you play in people's lives, and you may be wondering, why have I been feeling stuck? Right? Doing everything you can think of to try to unstick yourself. But in some cases, it's because of the role you are currently playing or have recently finished playing in somebody else's life. And we're going to get another set of cards out here. We have, oh boy, the Hangman, the Knight of Swords reversed, and the Queen of Swords. Here we go. So the Hangman, this can be an energy, well, of stagnancy. And I was just speaking about that. But in this case, I feel like the stagnancy is talking about the other party. I'm reading this from the position. I think you are the fish in the cup who's giving the advice and giving the guidance. It could be reversed, of course. Take it as you will. Um, I feel like this other party with this hangman was quite slow in having this breakthrough and understanding what you've been trying to tell them. Okay. They were kind of just hanging around. There wasn't a lot of motion with that. Now, with this Queen of Swords, we have this Knight of Swords reversed, so he's facing this Queen of Swords who has her back to him. Queen of Swords, um, in some cases for me, can be an advisor. Again, so it's the fish on the cup is this Queen of Swords, the one who is verbalizing, the one who is wise, the one who is advising. Um, this Queen of Swords is now looking in a different direction, meaning you are either focused on something else or you've possibly been moved into another assignment. You may now be guiding somebody else. Okay. And this other person, this slowpoke over here, is now hustle, quickly trying to catch up with you, seemingly now or in the near future, perhaps. In this Knight of Swords reverse energy, I feel the reversal is primarily just to indicate the flow of the energies. Again, he's running up behind the Queen of Swords, and she is not even really aware of that. Okay, now, Knight of Swords reversed to be can also indicate a changing of the mind. Knight of Swords when he's upright, he very much knows his own mind, and he can be rather fixed in his thinking. So again, with this reversal, there's been some type of mental shift, and even the Hangman can speak to looking at things from a different angle, right? But Knight of Swords also moves very quickly. They have a lot of tunnel vision, and so yeah, there's kind of this like delayed reaction. I think that's what I might call this reading. Um, where it's like once you've kind of refocused yourself and maybe have already been moved into another assignment, this person from the past is now like, oh, wait a minute. Can we, I need to talk to you again. I understand what you were trying to tell me now. And it's like, well, okay. Um, let's where do we conclude this? Let's just get one more card out here and see what we get. We have got, oh, the Two of Cups reversed. Yeah. So, this may not be the case for everybody, but again, um this relationship may be done. Okay. And something that God revealed to me actually not all that long ago, and sometimes I still have to remind myself. Um is that I often make the biggest impact on people when I exit their lives. And yes, I make an impact on people when I'm in their life for sure. But when I pull the energy away, that's when they really sort of um, do some introspecting. So, and for some of you, that may also be the case. It can be a bit of a tough pill to swallow. That what I'm trying to say is that for some of you listening, it's inevitable that these relationships are going to end. Some of them were never meant to, I don't want to say they were never meant to turn into something else, because in some cases they were, okay? But the other person didn't do their part. But in many cases, you're just there to play a role, a specific role, and that's it. Talk to you again soon.